Hello, hello, Chelsea win again. We're so back. We're so back. Chelsea win 3-1. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Afternoon for me. A big, a tremendous dub. A tremendous dub, which did not feel like it was going to be a dub for quite some time. It did, and then it did not, and then it did again. Oh boy. Who boy. Well, we're gonna start looking at my own tweet, and this is all you need to know. Just remember, anyone who told you that Chalobah wasn't good enough for Chelsea told you exactly in that moment that they were not worth listening to. They told you that. Then and there. They told you then and there they were not worth listening to. The guy's a good footballer. He is a legit, very good footballer. In every aspect, he is a good footballer. Yeah, we're getting Trev's the GOAT. Wow, I love Chalobah. Imagine having Chalobah for the full first half of the season. Kier Trevoh Masterclass. Chalobah in, Clear Lake out. Death to private equity. Chalobah's a good player, man. Chalobah man of the match selfie is going to be so cold. Absolutely. Dude, the picture. Hold on, I gotta pull this up. I gotta pull up this picture. There was a picture that got posted at halftime. Hold on. This picture at halftime, I was crying, laughing at this picture. that was something else. But listen, man, I said it. Like, Chalobah is a very, very good footballer. He can do many things to a very high level. He can play the middle of a three, the left of a three, the right of the three. He can play either side in a pair. He can play in midfield. He can play right back. Why would you not want guys who can do all those things on your team? Why would you not? Why would you not want those guys on your team? So listen, let's talk the game, because this is a fun stat game. Let's talk about some of the players who played, because there were a lot of things that I think didn't work, but also I think some things did work. And then we'll talk about some transfers. And then we'll talk about whatever. I'm gonna lock in for a 2-hour one today. So like, strap in. We're going the full 2 hours today. So from a stat perspective, Chelsea played a fairly unexpected lineup. The rumor had been that Chalobah was gonna start pretty much all week. That he's was gonna play in midfield, though, was the rumor. Turns out he played center back. Colwill was out. We don't know why yet. So when Maresca's post match presser happens, somebody let me know in chat, and we'll pull up the quotes. Because no Colwill is interesting, especially if that's a longer term thing. And I think that's legitimately a thing that hurt Chelsea today. Was no Colwill. Tosin, right center back. James, right back. Dewsbury Hall started in midfield, which was very surprising. Palmer makes it through his injury. Neto starts on the left, Madueke on the right, and Jackson up front. No Enzo Fernandez, no Lavia in the squad, which were kind of the two that Enzo Maresca hinted at. As having muscle fatigue things. And we saw a couple interesting things. So, like, Chelsea defended very differently. We'll get the tactics board out. They defended 4-1-4-1. It did not really work, in my opinion. But we did see kind of the same thing we've seen against back fives all year, is that Chelsea go 3-1-6-1 or 3 diamond or whatever you want, 3-1-5-1, 3-1-6, whatever you want to call it, to get +1 on the last line. And I thought it worked in some ways and didn't work in others. Uh, but it was like an interesting setup for the game. But again, you're playing 17th at home. It should be a comfortable win. And if we look at the stats, it pretty much was. 3.2 to 0.9 on the XG, 19 shots to 9, four big chances to 1, 54 to 18 on box touches. I thought Chelsea did a tremendous job to generate field tilt in this game. I thought they did a very good job, particularly the first 30 minutes, and then like minute 55 to 75, like that kind of 20-minute stretch. They did a tremendous job of getting players in every channel. So between the wingback and wide center back, between the center backs and outside of the wingback, so that their five was pinned very deep, and Chelsea were able to actually ratchet up and sustain pressure. And it was like, I think that side of things was effective. I think the other half of this is that Chelsea were very good on set pieces today. Half of their total XG comes from set pieces. You have the first goal, Tosin is a corner that's cleared. James shot, falls to Tosin, goal. You have the Madueke goal is a wide free kick, basically out at the corner flag. Trev knocks down for a Madueke tap in, which is kind of XG farming. Like really, it's a 2.2 XG game, but that chance is 0.9 or whatever. But like things are real. Apparently we are trying to get Vlahovic back in the Vega move. If we finish this window with Garnacho and Vlahovic, I'll actually stop being a fan. Thomas, tweet, is that a thing that just came out? If so, tweet that link at me because I want to see it. Chelsea considering a move for, looks like we're going for, everybody's saying it. There's lots of Vlahovic talk. Hold on. Let's reset this Zoom so that I can actually read it properly. Where am I seeing Vlahovic? Who tweeted this? Is it a Fab tweet? I don't see it. Oh, Inter getting Petar Susic is nice. Susic is very good. This is really, this is totally unrelated to what we're talking about. I love Petar Susic as a player. He's super good. Okay, somebody tweet at me the Vlahovic thing, but we'll continue talking about the game for now. The Times is reporting it. Gary Jacob. I don't follow that person. Check Piss. I don't follow Piss because his name is Piss. Time Sport. Check Chelsea Dodgers. Chelsea are considering a move after they held talks. Ew. Panna, thank you for retweeting it. Ew. Okay, we'll talk about that later because I do want to talk about transfer stuff. Also, this is really funny, but yeah, Bad Rabbits just saw himself, which is fun. Also, I like shredded my knee playing men's league last night, and I'm so sore, and it only hurts when it's bent. I'm sitting at this desk in agony for you all. Keep that in mind. Anyways, listen, the stats are good. I love when games like end up the scoreline basically exactly matches the XG. 3-1 is very fun. But like ultimately it's a big thing. And I think a nice thing about this game in particular is that I don't think Chelsea fell off from a fatigue perspective. I actually thought they did a pretty good job keeping the energy high. I think the subs were a little late. Like we got 62 and then 2 at 77, 2 at 84. So like you get something like, I think there were 5 minutes of added time. So you get like 35 minutes for Sancho. You get 20 minutes for Disasi and Gusto each, which is 40. So you're at 75. And then you get another 20 for Felix and George to get you to 95. Like my number for good is usually 100. So it's not the worst. It's not bad. It's not bad. It could be better, but it's not bad. And you know, I think it was okay. I thought Chelsea actually like didn't really fall off. I'll be curious to see. I'll be curious to see like the expected threat stuff. Yeah, like this is like nice. Like it doesn't die in the second half, which is good. Which is good. Let me see McClocky bot. Sorry, I know when I type it's torture for you guys. Yeah, like this is good. Like you can see the first half dying off after we score. That is real. That definitely happened. But second half, I thought we actually did pretty good. I thought it was okay. Um, so that's where I'm at on that. I don't think. I think once Chelsea got the third, I thought Palmer should have come off right away. For Felix or Nkunku, I don't really care which, but I thought that move could have happened much earlier. Um, and I wouldn't have hated seeing Jackson go. I thought I don't know. Let's just go through the ratings. Sanchez, I thought was very poor. The goal is a disaster, and the goal is a disaster for a few reasons. So, like one, I don't know. I don't know how to make these guys smaller, but like, listen to talk about Sanchez. Sanchez is an excellent cross taker. Like he is legitimately a very good cross taker. He is one of the most active by like cross claims above expected. Some of that which is not available publicly. There are private people who do this. He is one of the best cross takers in the world. I think he's very, very good at it. I think the problem we saw today with Sanchez is like he just makes awful decisions sometimes. So like Wolves were hitting in-swinger corners trying to score at the near post. Just drop it right on the crowd's head, make it a mess, really limit Sanchez's ability to affect it, and try and score off chaos. And Sanchez, instead of taking a pretty conservative near post approach, so that like when he comes, he has momentum, right? Like you can come and deal with this. You can come in and like clear it with vim and force. He started like here to be aggressive for back post claims, but then you have to recover around the crowd, which is why on the goal, he claims it. If he holds it, it's a goal because he's falling into the net. And you see the one after that, he comes and punches, and it's fine. So I thought that was like a really, really bad decision from him. He also has this thing that I hate, where when he dives, there's like a couple schools of thought when dealing with parrying, right? So like you're not holding it, and you're not punching it, you're parrying, which is like tipping it away. And there's a couple things. Like some people, you like shoot the hand. That's like the phrase people use. You shoot the hand. So you imagine like it's a flat palm, but the momentum of shooting my hand to that place is not only going to block the ball by my hand being there, but it's also going to impart some like sideways momentum to push it away. And then some people do this thing like they pinch it almost. So like they come and they I can't even, how do I like explain this? They like pinch almost. And so that like when they make that save, it's like I've pushed it away. Like you can imagine like if you have something in your hand that's like too big, when you pinch it, it goes away. I'm trying to do it with a remote, but it doesn't really work. Sanchez doesn't do either of those. Sanchez does like a slap. He like slaps at it. So you saw in that Cunha chance, it's not even really a chance. It was like the cutback that Cunha's tried to put in the top corner. He like slaps at it. He doesn't shoot his hand. He doesn't just like twist or he doesn't pinch. He slaps. And we saw that exactly with the Kovacic goal, the very first game of the season, where his hand is there and he goes like this. He like whacks at it. And it's hard. The ball's fast. You can't whack it. You have to put your hand in the way of it and then choose where it goes. And he whacks at it. He flaps. And it's just like super disaster. He has some very, very strange technical things about his game. I think ultimately he's probably average. Like if I pull up his stats like at the season level, he is slightly better than 0, which is not bad, which is fine. And like he's fine. Somebody asked about Georgi Petrovic. Georgi Petrovic has been, and said, has he been exceptional for Strasbourg? He has not been exceptional. Um, he's been like a little bit, about the same amount better than average that Sanchez has been. I think Petrovic is probably going to end up being not as good as I thought he would be in Europe, but still a good goalkeeper. You know what I mean? Like probably not Champions League starter, but like Europa League starter level guy is my probably where I've adjusted my expectations down. But I think he's a very good goalkeeper. Um, Skype, he's probably a Premier League goalkeeper, just not at the right end of the table. I think that's a little harsh. Like, I think Sanchez is. I think this thing Sanchez is good at actually probably do actually make him a better choice goalkeeper for a big team. Where, like, if you think of goalkeepers like finishers, where they are a percentage above or below the XG they would face, whereas like they are whereas like cross taking and distribution things are like volume. I think actually having a goalkeeper like Ederson, right? Like Ederson is probably an average shot stopper, but he's an excellent passer. So for like, I don't know, Luton or whatever, or Ipswich, like having Ederson doesn't help them because he's not that good at the thing they need their goalkeeper to do. Whereas like for some good teams, they could do with like the cross taking and the passing is more valuable because they face many more crosses than they do shots. You know what I mean? I think the issue with Sanchez is like his brain just turns off every once in a while. Sanchez has 5 yellows. Is he suspended? No, because we're past game week 19, so he would not get a suspension until he gets 10 yellows. And I think the only player close to that right now is Cucurella. I think Cucurella is the only one close to that for Chelsea. Maybe Caicedo. I don't know. Let's see. Playing miscellaneous card yellow. Yeah, Cucurella's on 8, but he's only on 7 for the purposes of suspension because one of them was to get a red card. So yeah, nobody's particularly close. And I think you just have to get to game week 35 without 10 yellows. So like it could happen, but I don't think so. I don't think so. Okay, listen, he's better than Kepa, and I understand that. I just grew up on De Gea, Cudicini, Czech, and Courtois. I have goalkeeper privilege, but it feels like it's such a gap for us. No, it is. It is. Like I don't think Sanchez is like a title-winning caliber goalkeeper. To be clear, I just don't think he's bad, and I don't think. Like if I say, okay, I agree with you. We need to if we want to win a title, we need to get a better goalkeeper than Sanchez. I agree with that. But then you say, okay, now who do we get? And I'm like, I don't know. The list of global goalkeepers is a very weak goalkeeping class right now, in my opinion. All the best goalkeepers are tied up on long-term contracts for teams they wouldn't leave, or are very old, or are like I look at Alisson, who's like a free agent this summer, and he's always injured. And I'm like, I don't know. Do I want to pay him a bomb to be always injured for this team? I don't think so. Like it's not a great goalkeeping class. So I look at it and I'm like, between Sanchez, Jorgensen, and Petrovic, you have 3 dice rolls. I just hope they hit a couple 6s. Goes. I think it's fine. Cucurella, I thought Cucurella was very poor today. Scores his goal, but I thought he was so wasteful in possession. Like you cannot only connect 80% of your passes in the role he does, where he has zero creation liability. I thought he was very poor in possession today. Yeah, not a very good Cucurella performance, but his goal is nice. His goal is a good goal. He does the right thing. Bulka's had contract disputes over the summer with Nice. I like Bulka as well, but again, he's another one. Like, you cannot tell me that Marcin Bulka is a sure thing. Like, you cannot tell me he is Alisson, Ter Stegen, like top goalkeeper. Like, this season, he's 1 goal ahead of his XG. Last season, I think he was exactly even, if I recall. A little better. Like, this is basically your average for your whole career. I like Bulka, I just don't think it's a sure thing. And I think he has many of the same, not flaws, but I think he has a little bit of the Sanchez too. I just think him, Sanchez, and Jorgensen is just they're all the same. They're all the same level. I thought Chalobah was excellent. We spoke about this to open the stream. Like, the guy's very good. He does not turn the ball over. He breaks lines to a good degree. He defends depth excellently. He is very good with both feet. He is very comfortable defending people into midfield. Trev is an excellent player. I thought he had such a good game today. And it's not surprising. This is what he does. He's very good. I am now in the place where I am hoping for the world where he just plays so well the rest of the season that Maresca's like, no, bro, we're not selling him. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on Trev. Lucas Chevalier and Alvaro Vaz. We'll talk about goalkeepers in the transfer section if you are curious about it. Yeah. Trev on aerials today, 4 out of 5 aerial duels won. I thought he was very good. And again, I think like Wolves are not, again, they're 17th for a reason. Like, they're not good. So I'm not gonna go crazy, but like, Trev had a very solid game. Left of the 3 was very solid. I thought Tosin was okay. He had a couple like quite very good line breakers into Palmer. He also had some like very weird giveaways. Scored a goal. Hard to be mad about that. I think the thing about him that I just got a WhatsApp call. I think one of the things that I find frustrating about him is like he's just so gangly and awkward in transition that he's just so gangly and awkward in transition that like he ends up in these weird spots and I'm like, you're gonna take a red card and it's gonna happen and it's not your fault, but it's gonna happen. So I don't know, that's a thing, but we'll see. I thought Reece James had a very good game. It's very fun to watch him body people. I would have liked to see Chelsea use him for those back post crosses much more frequently. I think there was a lot of free juice to be had from there. What do we have in here? I think it's between Trev and Achimpong as to who stays. Not sure who I'm more interested in. I think both can stay. It depends on who you can move and for what. Like, I do think Chelsea are like mostly out of the financial woods, mostly, but not quite. Like, if you get a big sponsorship deal and Champions League next year, it opens many doors financially. And the Club World Cup coming this summer, I think, opens a lot of money. But also no shirt sponsorship. Like, I don't know. I think they're going to get off a lot of bad deals in this window and the next one, I think. But let's see. I thought Caicedo had a not very good game. I thought he was uncharacteristically sloppy in possession. I think defensively he was in a really, really, really brutal spot. And we'll talk about that when we get the tactics sport out. Like, Chelsea defended 4-1, 4-1 today. I mean, whatever. We'll just do it now. So this is how Wolves played. They started the game with their wingbacks, Ait Nouri on the left, Semedo on the right. They changed that very quickly. But this is how Chelsea defended today, and it was not what I thought it would be. Chelsea defended 4-1, 4-1. Like this. So they had the wingers managing the wingbacks, but also getting ready to go to the wide center back if they received it. And so basically like this. This is how it's set up. And what happened is you would have the 6 come like this, and they'd put one player here, and then they'd flatten these players out so that when this press happens, I wanted to move the ball. When this press happens, you end up with like Cucurella's here, Chalobah's here, Tosin's here, Dewsbury Hall is like over here doing nothing for some reason. Madueke is like here doing nothing for some reason. And you just end up with Caicedo has like this massive pocket to pick up. And like it could be this player coming here, it could be this player coming here, it could be this player coming here. And then half the time he has to end up here to defend in the channel. And it's just like an impossible job for one guy to do. And I thought it didn't really work. Like, as much as Chelsea only gave up 9 shots, they gave up 2 in the whole second half. I think that's correct. And they both came at 4 in the second half, but they all came at 3-1. Yeah, they all came at 3-1. I don't know. I don't think defensively it really worked that well. So I think he was just okay. But he did look very tired, as other people have said. Like, if Lavia, I don't know what the deal is with Lavia, man. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a fatigue thing, but like I look at the schedule Chelsea have coming up, and you look at the fixtures, and it's like game, midweek game, and then international break. This is an FA Cup weekend right after this. And you have like it's just a lot of games, and then you have the Conference League knockouts games, which aren't scheduled yet, but the Conference League knockout rounds are going to be in there. And like I don't know who's going to play the Conference League games if these guys are here. So like Lavia is very unreliable. So if you're like, oh, he's going to play a lot of Conference League games, like, is he going to play a lot of Conference League games? Because I don't think so. And even though those games are walkabouts, like, he's going to get injured. So I think, like, you have to recall one of Ugochukwu or Santos. I think you have to. My inclination is Santos because I think he's better than Ugochukwu. I think it's much more likely he stays and plays next year than Ugochukwu. And like betting him into England while you still have a guaranteed 1,000 minutes in the Conference League that you're not at all scared about playing him in, I think is very valuable compared to Leslie. And I think you need the defensive ball winning more than you need Leslie's like tweener 8 skills. Like I think that's objectively true. Let's see. Who else we got to talk about? Dewsbury Hall sucks. This guy is not good at anything. Swap them over, to be honest. Send Leslie to Strasbourg. Yeah, I'd have no problem with that. Wiley is back now, so there is an open spot. If you take Santos too, like I would love to give them Carney and Leslie and let them do their thing. Like I think that would be super good. But I think if Leslie's going to keep playing at Southampton, I'm fine with him staying there. But I think that's fine. Dewsbury Hall sucks. Just like not a good footballer. I appreciate that he tries hard. That's what I have on that one. He gets like a weird flick on assist, but otherwise didn't do much. Wasn't good, but he tries hard. That's what I can say about him. Thoughts on Garnacho better than Neto? We'll talk about transfers after we talk about the game. Bad Rabbits, isn't Sarr going to be a loan player? Sarr is not a loan. Chelsea are doing the deal in the summer. It's a pre-agreement. They're not buying and loaning back. It is a pre-agree. The same way we did in Kunku, where you buy him in January, but the deal doesn't happen until the summer. You save an international loan spot. Either way, get Leslie out of the burning boat in Southampton. I don't know if I agree. I think he's playing now, and they're better because they're not playing insane. Like, you can get away with it. Neto, again, honks. India Kitchen, what do we do with Neto? Honks. He's not good. He's the same player he was at Wolves. Maybe a little worse. Because, like, there's not as good players around him. He can dribble and kind of cross. He is okay, but not very good defensively. There's just not much there. I much prefer him on the left to the right because I think he can arrive at the back post a little bit. I think he can like beat guys, like step over line, cross. But there's just not much there, man. Like the team looked way better when Sancho came on. Way better when Sancho. I thought Madueke had genuinely his worst game of the season. I was fuming watching this game. There was a moment in the first half where Dewsbury Hall is like defending for his life, like trying his very, very best. And Noni Madueke is just standing there watching him adjusting his shorts. I'm like, what are you doing? Double down, help to defend. And then that leads to their goal. It ends up giving them the corner for their goal when Dewsbury Hall is like dying to defend. And it pisses me off, man. I hate it so much. And like, I try to be really cognizant because I think like players like I want to be really deliberate about the words I choose here. I think players like Noni, who are kind of up and down wingers, like we would use their word mercurial, whose talents are mostly offensive, with his cultural background, right? Like he's a London kid, he's a young black man. He has a certain style to how he dresses, he speaks a certain way. I think people can think and talk about those things and they bleed very heavily into what people think about them as a player. Right? Like where I think people look at the headband and the dreads and the long shorts and they're like, he's lazy and he's dumb. Like, I think that happens. I think people legitimately do that. And I want to be very deliberate about not doing that, right? Like, I want to be very deliberate about how I talk about him. And I think, so it's like, I'm trying to be very cognizant of like, I don't want to use the word lazy because I don't think Noni is lazy. I think he does work hard. But I do think Noni is extremely complacent. And I do think Noni does have mental lapses where his brain turns off and he's like, oh no, I do have to track back now. Or, oh no, I do have to arrive at the back post. Like you look at the chance in the first half where Cole Palmer takes the shot and there's the juicy rebound at the back post. And we've spoken all year about the winger has to arrive at the back post for cutback squares and tap and rebounds. And Noni doesn't get there. He's out there. And like he does adjust his shorts all the time to pull them lower. Like that is a thing he actually does. And I hate it so much. It's super annoying to me. I want my players to play like 70s NBA players, short shorts only. But it's just, it is a thing that I think is like a thing you have to be really cognizant of when you're talking about this. Where like I do think he is better defensively than he was 18 months ago. That is 100% true. But I also think he's like still not good defensively. You know what I mean? Way better than Neto. Like somebody texted me that Noni is frustrating, but Neto is useless. Objectively true. That's 100% the correct way to frame it. Luca Tinarello, Madueke is privately educated. If I recall correctly, the stereotyping him was ridiculous, but also he was killing himself earlier in the season to cover outside the right back, and I just stopped doing that. Yeah, I don't know anything about Noni's background other than like from London, and he looks how he looks, and he plays how he plays, and I think people bleed those two together, and I hope I do a reasonable job of not letting those things bleed together, of evaluating him as a player and only as a player. You know what I mean? Um, I think the thing with Noni that I get really hung up on is like today. Sometimes he does not. Today he got a tremendous amount of 1v1 opportunities and turned them into nothing valuable. Like you look at the shot map, other than the goal, he takes 5 shots, 2 of them get blocked, and 3 of them are of legitimate 0 value to scoring goals. Like he takes 5 shots for like 0.04 xg each. Like it's just there's nothing there. And then he gets all these 1v1s and he doesn't turn them into squares or cutbacks or really good passes into the box. Like he had one. I actually don't know where he gets 0.33 XA from. Like I don't know which one it is. But like look at the ground duels. He attempted 13 dribbles and he completes 2 of them. That's brutal, dude. Brutal. 1 of 4 successful dribbles. Like it's just not very, very good. He I think the thing that I want to see more of him is I want to see him go goal line right foot way more often, especially against back threes, right? Because like if we think about like where like you end, let's say you end up in this situation, right? Chelsea have managed to shrink the back 5 so that Noni can receive outside of the wing back with space to go, right? With pace and space. Well, what happens is Dewsbury Hall comes because like that's his job is to play in this channel. And because he comes, the 6 comes. And because the wing back is 1v1 against the very like it's on the scouting report, this is what this guy does. The wide center back comes. And so now you end up in this situation, right? Where this is your thing. So you have 2 options. If Dewsbury Hall makes the channel run, you have to play him because maybe he breaks the line and you get something good. Or he pulls this player. But now you're in like this really awkward spot where you can't go line because Dewsbury Hall is there. And you can't go inside because the DM is there. So Dewsbury Hall, I thought very smartly, a lot of the time in this game, would just come and sit in between. He would just sit in between these 2 players, knowing that Noni can't come inside, right? But what he can do is he can play you to slip him into bounce. That can happen. I thought Dewsbury Hall actually did this very well. But if you don't want to play this connection to spin behind, and it's a hard connection to spin behind because if this goes here and he plays here, the what's his name? Abagadu? I don't know this guy's name. Agbadu. He just sweeps it up. He's very athletically talented. It's hard to do. What I wanted to see Nutty do much more of was can you dribble at the wing back such that he turns his hips this way. So, like, look at the little arms on the guy. So he turns his hips. Oh, it's not zooming in. It won't zoom in. Okay. You need to get him to turn inside so that when you take the drag touch this way, you have him beat. And now because this center back takes away the near post, then you have cut back. Then you have cut back. Then you have cut back. And we saw it happen one time. But I think particularly against back 5s, he has to go goal line way, way, way more. And that was why I like the idea of Neto on the left, because in theory he could do that on his side. He never did it because he stinks, but you could. Palmer looked really tired. Fine, but not good game from him. I thought he looked very tired. I think I would have taken him off at halftime was where I was leaning when it was 1-0. Once you concede, you kind of have to leave him. But as soon as we scored the third, he would have been off for me. Yeah, like he He looked really tired. I thought Jackson was not great. I thought he was very, very sloppy linking today. Defensively excellent. Genuinely defensively excellent. But I thought he was very sloppy in possession. Nice finish on the offside one. He started the game pretty brightly, I thought. But other than that, was just okay. Not great. Not great. What are you going to do? Subs, I thought Sancho was good, and the rest I don't care about. So, we talked about the 4-1-4-1 stuff. We talked about the in possession stuff. So the in possession, we saw 3-1 build. Wolves tried to do something like the Fulham thing, where it was like 5-2-3 if we remember Fulham, and then they went 5-1-3-1. And they tried to go 5-1-3-1 and stop Chelsea's ability to advance. You know what I mean? And we saw Chelsea do the same thing they always do against back fives, where they go into like the diamondy front six, front five thing. And did honestly, like, it was fine, but not good. I think the one thing we saw Chelsea do a good job of, way more in the second half than in the first half, was we saw Cucurella and Dewsbury Hall, depending what side the ball was on, do a really good job of making this run between these two, because it brings this player, but it also brings this player. And so now you can hit the winger really, really freely. I thought that went very well. And we saw it even more with Dewsbury Hall on the other side. Like, Madueke got so many good 1v1 or like semi 1v1 opportunities because of very good movement from Cucurella and Dewsbury Hall. So I thought that was lovely. But the thing that happened a lot was, like, let's say you get to Madueke and you end up here, and Dewsbury Hall occupies this player and this player-ish, right? So then you have the rest of the back five is here. And, like, the thing when you play this front six is you have to get a player between every single lane. So if Dewsbury Hall is occupying here, Jackson has to get here. And then Cucurella has to fill something, probably here. And then Palmer has to fill here, and then Neto has to fill here. Like, you have to fill all the lanes to do it. And if you look at the goal, the second goal, it's a different moment where the wing back is out, and you have Neto gets here. It's not Palmer, it's Jackson, and it's Cucurella, and it's Dewsbury Hall. And you end up with this. You end up with this 4v3 in the middle, so that when Dewsbury Hall flicks it, this player's drawn, and Cucurella's totally free, because the back one can't pick up both him and Neto. So I thought Chelsea did a really, really good job of filling those lanes in the box on the inside crosses. I think as like a strategy, I actually quite like the overload the back post with 3 thing. What I don't love is I would much rather you do it with Nkunku or Felix on the pitch, because they're both very good at attacking crosses. Felix is very good in the air for his position. DiMarzio, agreement between Chelsea and Torino has been reached for Cassidy. 10 to 12 million euros plus add-ons with a very high sell-on clause. Closing of the transfer scheduled for Tuesday. So, does anyone have other things about the game before we move on to transfers? Yearly things. Way better than Wolves last year. 4 goal difference swing. 1.5 expected goal difference swing. Plus 10 shot difference instead of plus 2. 10 box touches plus 25. No, 35 box touches. 36 box touches. Chelsea are now a plus 12 box touch team and a plus 6 shot team. Like, it's pretty good. All the metric stuff is good. It's strong. And this is why I'm saying for the whole season, Chelsea are fine. They're going to be fine. They're going to be fine. I bet you if I pull up Opta Analyst, they're going to be even more fine than they were. Table. Let me pull up the big one. Chelsea go back up, and now they're back up to 45%, and it was whatever before. Like, they're fine, they're fine, they're fine. They're fine. Did I talk about Gusta left back, Cuckoo right, center mid in the last 10 to 15? I did not, but functionally nothing changed. It was just Gusta went to left back and did this Cucurella job here, and Cucurella went for Dewsbury Hall as the right center midfielder. Why you would do it that way instead of the other way around, I have absolutely no idea, but it's super weird. Yeah. Josh Rutter, every time we look at the year over year, I'm reminded how bad we were last year. There were plenty of those games I didn't pay a lot of attention to. Yeah, I mean, this is why I say, like, when we look at, I guess I can update all of these now. Villa did not play. Oh, I haven't done Villa 2 weeks in a row. Did Villa win last week? Let me update this live because I've been a bad guy. Did Villa beat Everton? They did beat Everton. Okay, so Villa won here. Oh, that's the 3. And they drew here, which means it's a net 0 for Aston Villa. I think Villa are far enough off they're not good. I should probably swap them. Spurs lost to Arsenal and lost to Everton. Spurs have also dropped enough points. They're probably not catching us. Chelsea, we won, so that's fun. So Chelsea gain. Where are we popping up now? We're going to be back above 70 points. Not bad. 72. Newcastle lost to Bournemouth. And did they beat Wolves? They did. So Newcastle -1 on last year's. And then United, who stink, lost to... What did they not lose? Liverpool? Where's United? Wasn't that like a wacky game? They drew Liverpool. And then they... Oh, I'm way behind on United. They drew Liverpool. They drew Southampton. And they lost to Brighton. Which puts them... Who cares? United are miles off it. So this is where we're at. Like, it's... Yeah, I might need to retrofit Forest into this. I was going to add Forest yesterday, and then I got lazy and didn't do it. But, yeah, I should probably also add Bournemouth in here. But those two are going to look weird because, like, the rest, they're clearly much better this year than they are last year. So it's gonna artificially deflate them. Anyways, listen, like, the metrics are way better. United beat Southampton. Oh, thank you. Great. They go from 45 to 48. My bad. 47 even. So yeah, like I think on the overall metrics, like Chelsea are considerably better than last year. Considerably better than last year. But like, so one of the reasons why it doesn't feel that way is because these are all non-penalty. And Chelsea are like -3 or -4 on penalties this year, and last year they were +6, which is like a 7 or 8 goal swing. So like 2/3 of 22 games, Chelsea are like +12 expected goal difference compared to last year, but actually that expected goal difference is more like +4 or +5 because of the penalty swing. And like, again, you can go back. We talked about this on the last podcast. You can go back to the last 5 games and look at all the like weird penalties that could have happened. These things are somewhat random noise. It is what it is. Since Nuno came in Forest, according to Undershatter, consistently around 8th unexpected points. Interesting when lots had them down to be relegated. Yeah, I think picking them to be relegated this year was kind of weird. But I do think I think Nuno's a good coach and he's done a good job with them. I just don't think they're top 4 good. Like Bad Rabbit Test, if we get 4th, are we getting it ahead of City or Forest? I don't know. Like I made this point on Blue Sky yesterday. So like Chelsea are so everybody is 22, right? Except for Everton and Liverpool or whatever. Different conversation, and Everton a different conversation. So like you look at Arsenal, Forest, Chelsea, City, Newcastle, Bournemouth, Villa for the purposes of this discussion. And it's an 8-point window, right? Let's include Brighton and call it a 10-point window. For Chelsea to come fourth, like you only need one of those teams for Chelsea to come outside of the top 4. You need 3 of those teams to do better than them. So like Arsenal have to stay better than them, Forest have to stay better than them, or City, Newcastle, Bournemouth, Villa, Brighton have to be better than them, but to like a reasonable degree, right? Where Chelsea are 2 points clear of these two and better goal difference, 3, 4, 6. So in 16 games, not only do they have to make up the points, they also have to make up an extra point and the goal difference along the way. But also, like, what these teams by the metrics, other than City, are all worse than Chelsea along the way. Like, so far, have been considerably worse than Chelsea. Newcastle are close; they're not far off. But like Forest are way worse. So to me, it's like Chelsea are probably going to come 4th or 5th, and it's going to be good enough for Champions League either way, based on the way the European games are going, or the nation coefficients. Like, it's fine. It's fine. Like it's fine. And Chelsea have a weird schedule. Like Chelsea play everyone from 13th down at home. Wolves is done now. So United, West Ham, Spurs, Everton, Ipswich, Leicester, Southampton. They have all these games at home the rest of the year. I projected Chelsea needed 70 points. I predicted Chelsea needed 70 points to get top 4. So Chelsea need 30 from 16 games. So a little bit less than 2 points a game to get there. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games at home against the worst teams in the league. That's 21. If you just win the games you're supposed to, and then close your eyes and flip coins against the rest, you're going to hit 30 almost every time. Almost every time. So I think Chelsea will be fine. This is why I've found it difficult to get super worked up about the top 4 thing. Like, I think Chelsea are going to be fine. And if they're not fine, the overwhelmingly most likely version of not fine is they come 5th, which will probably get you Champions League anyways. So it's like, whatever. On pace for 72, though. Let's see. It's kind of weird, though, if you look at like the remaining games for Chelsea. There's a whole lot of wins in there. It would be very fun if it came down to Forest on the final day, though. I would very much appreciate that as someone who is going to be in London for that weekend, because I will do whatever I have to go to. I will do whatever I have to be there for that game, because winning Forest away to knock them out of Champions League places would be so funny. It would be so funny. Europa League with more youth next season is more of a thing. No, I want Champions League. I want it now. And whatever. I think the league phase is actually much easier to do the rotation in. Even though it's more games, but like I want the Champions League. Champions League is so fun. It's so fun. Also, if Champions League happens, that means I will almost certainly do my like February trip to England, where you can get like a bunch of games and European games at the same time, that I did to Italy last year. Very fun. Let's talk about transfers. Any other like interesting stat things from this game? That's a lot of passing from Mr. Tosin. It's fun. Has Maresca done his plus Champions League means Jordan deal? Yeah, maybe. Has Maresca done his press conference yet? Can somebody let me know about that one? Oh, this tweet is banged. That's fun. Do we want to guess at who this is? I want to guess. Oh, it's Kepa season. That's not shocking. Okay. Yeah, has Maresca done his thing yet? I want the Maresca press conference. Actually, I'd be curious to see. I haven't looked at the betting odds for a while on top 4. So Chelsea were up to like, I think minus 1,500. And now they're like minus 170, right? Eight minus 1. So what's that? What's minus 150? Like 65%? Is that right? No. Yeah, 60% on the dot. Oh no, Lavia Doom News by Maresca. Okay, hold on. This is what I wanted to go see. No, not that one. Here we go. Uh-oh. We don't know how long they're going to be out. We need to help Madueke improve. After the goal, he was tired. Before, always important to win. We score first and then they draw. I was very happy with the reaction. Both injuries were against Bournemouth. Muscular problems. He can improve in the last third. After he scored, he stopped playing. Technical decision to leave Vega out. Romeo is more important than the Enzo one. We don't know how long they will. I mean, okay. If they're out, you have to do a recall. I don't think you can. I genuinely do not think you can not do it. Rumor is Enzo's a few weeks apparently. Yeah, you have to then. To me, you absolutely have to recall them like tonight. Then. One of them at least. Bring back both. I don't think you have to bring back both. I think you can eat just one of them for now. But I think you bring back. I think you have to. If it's legitimately like, if both of them will not be available for City next week, you have to bring Santos back now. I think. Like, I don't think you have a choice. I was disappointed we didn't see Sam Raksaki on the bench. I think he's very good in the best academy centerman. I like Sam. I think he's good. I think he's useful. I think he's more useful than he is good, which is like a weird thing to say. But yeah, I'm also disappointed that he didn't make the bench. Which broken ass midfielder are we going to spend 40 million on this month for cover? Good question. Good question. Yeah. It's a good. No. Alex Matos, your time is now. Matos is gone, I think. I'm on the sub-C side of Leslie can be so special, so would bring him so that we don't nuke Strasbourg into relegation. Well, then I would do, like, really, I would be into doing, like, send Leslie to Strasbourg and bring Santos. Because I think you need the ball winning, and Leslie's not a big ball winner, where Santos is a huge ball winner. I think he really improves you defensively. Douglas Luiz on loan. I don't like Douglas Luiz, but I could see them doing something like that. I think Douglas Luiz will end up at City. But you could do stuff like that. Okay, let's talk about transfers. Okay, so LCFC. Pull up the squad. Okay. If you tweet me links to things, we can pull them up as well. So, first off, Cesare Casade. 10 to 12 million euros plus add-ons plus a big sell-on is a strange deal to do, I think, because I know the typing sucks. I'm very sorry, but I can't exactly not type. So listen, here's the thing. Cassidy cost, boy, 15 million euros 2 years ago, right? Like a full actually 2.5 years ago now, on a 5-year contract. No, a 6-year contract. Vlahovic debunked by Fab. We're going to talk about Vlahovic anyways. 6-year contract, 15 million is a little bit less than 3 million a year amortization. It's 2.5 million a year. So after 2.5 years, he's going to be down 5, 6 and a quarter, right? So he'll be down to 8 million, 7.5 million, somewhere in there, right? So if you get 12 million, you get a 5 million profit, add-ons or whatever, and then a high sell-on. Let's say a 50% sell-on. Sell-ons generally are after the profit, so every dollar above 12 million. I think Cassidy could very reasonably be sold for 20 right away, but I don't see like very many worlds where he's sold for 30 or 40, which is really the what you want with the sell-on. So the other thing was like, oh, they really want 20 million euros. And there was talk of a 15 million pound bid, which is like 18 million euros. I think I would like just lock that in and take the smaller sell-on. I think I would take the money up front. But I think it's good deals to like get small profit and then future profit on sales or whatever. I think Cassidy is a useful player. I think he'll be good in Italy. I think he'll score goals. That's always nice for him. So that's Cassidy. Now, okay, so that's number one. But I think I would try to get more money than I would in sell-ons, but I'm not mad about doing it the other way. So that is what it is. Second one, Renato Vega. So we've heard a few different rumors. One of the rumors that came out today with Mr. Vega cost Chelsea 14 million euros. Okay. One of the rumors we heard today was that Dortmund have submitted an offer, full wage coverage, 3 million euro loan fee, an option but no obligation at the end. Okay. So that means Chelsea signed him this summer. He's 6 months in. Go away, Audacity. I don't need you right now. I already edited. We haven't talked about Garnacho yet. It's coming in. We're going to talk about Garnacho. So Vega signed a 7-year deal. He is 1/14 of the way through that contract. So we are at 14 times 13 out of 14, which is just 13. I needed a minor in mathematics to tell me that. Thank you very much. 14 million, 14 amortization periods. Very, very good at this. So there's 13 million left. If you get 3 million, so that's one half of it. The other rumor is that Chelsea are looking to get 6 million euros in the loan fee. Juve may be interested in doing that. I think if you can get 6 million euros in the loan fee, you do that every single time. That pays off half of his fee in the loan. Done. Every time. Done. See you later. Let's move on. The second half of this is, do you move him permanently? Do you do a loan with an option, or do you do a loan with an obligation? So like if you think about it, there's a few wasn't Vega after it went to 5? Actually, you're probably right that it is after it went to 5. But even then, it's whatever. He's down 1.5 million or something. Like it's 12 instead of 13. Whatever, doesn't matter. So there's like loan with an option, loan with an obligation, or permanent. If you can get 20 million for him on a permanent now, I'd do it. You lock in an 8 million profit, you move on. If you can't, I think I'd just do a dry loan. Because look, you paid 14 million for him. He's barely played. but he's already made 3 appearances for Portugal. He's left-footed and could play and is like center back, left back, defensive midfielder, whatever. Like, that's a useful profile that people like. It's a sexy profile. And then you get 6 million, you knock out a little over a third, 40% of his amortization. And now it's like, okay, if he plays, let's say he goes to Juventus or he goes to Dortmund and he plays 1090s the rest of the way, he's going to have like movement in the summer as long as he's not awful. And I don't think he's awful. So then it's like, if there's an option, and let's say the option is 20, okay, sure. But I think putting an option is bad, because if there's like people want him to fight on loan now, if he's available to actually move in the summer, you can probably get quite a frothy market, I think, where if you take 6 million now and then in the summer, it's like, okay, the bidding starts at 20, which is what the option would have been. And now it's Dortmund and it's Juve and it's a few other teams. And it's like, okay, at 20 million, maybe. All of a sudden, the 20 is like 24. And you've made 30 million euros for him. Right? And now you're like, oh my God, we paid 14. And within a year, we flipped him for 30. That's awesome business. You're super, super happy with that. Or you put an obligation and it's like you pay 6 million now. But I think if you do that, your obligation is like 20 or 18, and then it's like 6 plus the 18. You really want to protect yourself here from like 6 million loan fee and like 8 million obligation. So it's like you get to 14. I think you really want to avoid that scenario, because it's like, if they're going to pay it where it's 14 total, it's because he's worth 20 now. And like, he's cheap, his wages are low. Like, I think it's a good one that you can kind of take your time. Like, you really don't have to move this now. I think if we go back to the Michael Emenala Lone Army days, like, part of how that worked so well is that the loan fees you brought in paid for the whole group. Like Thomas Callas, like, if you wanna know a crazy one, like if I pull up Thomas Callas, right? Who plays for Schalke apparently, which is fun. Chelsea paid 6 million and sold him for 9 million at the end, and it only shows one loan fee of 200K. But I know for a fact that Borough paid a loan fee, and Fulham paid a loan fee, and Fulham paid a loan fee, and Bristol City paid a loan fee. And something like Chelsea paid 6 million. This 6 million was paid off almost entirely by the end of his loans. So you then get to bank all this extra money on top of it, right? So if you look at Renato Vega and we say, okay, Chelsea paid 4 million. They loan him for not even a whole season, by the way, 6 months. They loan him for 6 million or 4 million. And then next year you say, okay, we're going to do another loan. And you send him to Italy or you send him to Germany for a whole season for another 6 million. Then you sell him. And you get that, and now you've paid off his whole fee almost in loan fees, and then you get the full fee at the end, and it's super worth it. So that's, I think, where I stand on Vega. Who else? Who do we want to talk about? Oh, the other thing. So Juventus, there's like vaguely talk of Juve doing folding Vlahovic into Vega. So here's the deal with Vlahovic before we talk anything about him as a player. His contract expires next summer. He will be 26 by the time his contract expires. They paid a humongous fee to get him. And he makes gargantuan wages. Mamadou Sarr, we'll talk about Sarr. He makes gargantuan wages. 450,000 euros a week. Like, humongous wage. Like, he would be far and away Chelsea's highest earner. Juventus really, really, really want to move him to not lose him for free, because they are too broke to renew him at this number. The problem with Vlahovic is he's not that good. Like, this guy's supposed to be clinical finisher. He's behind his XG, brother. This is why I get mad at the finishing crowd. Like, he had 2 hot years, 3 hot years, and now he's way down this year. Like, it's very, very difficult. Regardless, he just doesn't score that much. He just doesn't score that much. And he doesn't do anything else on top of that. So, like, to me, with the wages and the fee, Jumaba. Bro, I feel like I'm going to look this up and it's going to be a troll. I don't know who Jumaba is. Abdullah Jumaba. Sierra Leonean. Oh, yeah, God, good. They can have him. Doesn't do anything. He defends and nothing else. That's very useful at City. Yeah, so like I just look at Vlahi, he makes way too much money and he doesn't do enough. I think there is zero, like, Chelsea are stupid, but I don't think even they're that stupid. So that I don't think happens. Garnacho. A lot of people hate Garnacho. I think Garnacho's very good. I think given his age, Garnacho's a very, very good player. And I think he does a lot of things that Chelsea need. He takes a lot of shots. He's a very aggressive dribbler. He gets into the box. He's a very good presser in comparison to someone like Pedro Neto. My concerns with Garnacho are a few. So like the things that I worry about with Garnacho are mostly off field. Like, again, if he had 7 goal contributions in 1390s at 20, you'd be like, oh my God. So the things I worry about Garnacho are like, he's very young and he is leaky in that, like, his brother leaks lineups. And I don't really care about any of those things if you're, like, good enough. And I think he is legitimately good enough. I think he's so good. But, like, I think he needs a bit of, like, a wake-up call as a human being. Where if he gets a big move now, I'm, like, not sure if those things ever get fixed. You know what I mean? Where then, like, 3 years from now, it blows up in his face. Yeah, I like, what I will say is I like the deal in isolation at 60 million. I don't know if I do it. I don't think I do it. And again, part of this is like Chelsea have a bunch of wingers already. Like, I just don't. In a world where there is Garnacho doesn't average lots of shots. I think he's north of 3 shots a game. That's a lot for a winger. Almost 4 shots a game in his last 3,000 minutes. That's like a tremendous amount of shots. Yeah, that's for a winger. That is gargantuan. If you could do a swap, like say Chilwell or Neto, I'd be. Oh my God, if you could do Neto to United for. Oh my God, if you could do Neto to United for 60 million and Garnacho to Chelsea for 60 million, I would pay for a flight to England tonight, rent a car, drive to Cobham, kidnap Neto in the parking lot where there's that little sign that says, like, players cannot stop for pictures because of traffic. I'd kidnap him out of his car. I would drive him to Manchester and I would dump him in front of Old Trafford. Like, I would do it so fast if I could send Neto to their team. Oh my God, it would be so dumb from their part. It would be all-time fleece. All-time fleece. I would say that Garnacho's relative value to Neto is like plus 30, plus 40. Like, Neto is so bad, and his contract is so bad. Like, I would do whatever to make the FFP work for you, but oh my God. He's awful, dude. So that's where I would be on that one. I would be so down. So down. That's obviously not happening. That's definitely not gonna happen. Someone clip that. Please, somebody clip that and tweet it to me. Because I would do it. I would fly there. I would kidnap him and I would drive him to Old Trafford. So that's okay. So that's Garnacho. I think Garnacho's like again, the things he does well are really really hard to do. He scores a lot. He takes a lot of shots. He's very aggressive. He gets into the box. Like I really just firmly believe that wingers who take lots of good shots are so valuable. And the fact that he's doing it at 20, and the fact that he's doing it at 20 for a team as wildly dysfunctional as United, I think is such a testament to how good a player he can be. Like, again, I think there's a lot of variables. If you told me at 25 he stinks or whatever, fine. But like, if I think there's like a pretty solid world where like he scores and assists like 12 goals in 25 games. Scores and assists 12 goals in 25 games every single season. I think that's tremendously valuable. So that's my thoughts on Garnacho. On Tell, I don't know on Tell. I don't like Tell that much. Trev explaining why he's number 23. What was his reasoning? I'm curious. What his reasoning was. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. That's funny. Nani has more goals than Saka. Okay, what other transfers? Who else? There were a few. Fab said clubs are calling men. Oh, I posted a link. Where's Bad Rabitos? Yeah. No way. We did Kepa. Bad Rabitos, where are you? You didn't post a link, bro. I'm looking at your Twitter. You didn't post it. Oh, Psalm 23. Yeah, that's fair. Barcola would be good. Oh, it's in the chat. Oops. my bad. Barcola would be sick, but I don't think that one happens, unfortunately. Yeah, I don't think the Barcola deal happens. I think there's very little chance that he moves, but if he was available, I would be super bad. Goalkeepers. So let's go pull up Mr. Georgie. Oh, not you, the other Georgie. Oh yeah, I forgot he spells it the Serbian way, Dorde, with the DJ. Dorde Petrovic. Yeah, he's like a little bit ahead of his XG, I think by 2 goals this year. 3 goals now. Elliot Spicer, look up Tierno Barry. I'll pull up Tierno Barry. Chelsea haven't been linked with him though. Like last year was a down year, right? Like -7 in 2290s is bad. But I talked about this a lot at the time. He conceded like 7 deflected goals, like insane deflections that end up looking like bad post-shot XG shots, but they're actually quite difficult to save because they're taking like crazy deflections. So I'm not shocked. Here. So that's Georgie. The things to me that are ultimately the problem with Georgie are like the non-shot stopping things. Like I think he's gonna be a fine shot stopper. I think he just is. The things I worry about are that he's so bad with his feet still. Like he's been better this year, but he's still not great. And he's been better, but he's still not great. And he's just like very much not a strong cross taker. Like he's a much more like sit deep, conservative, defend your line goalkeeper. And that applies to the sweeping as well, which he's like very much has been a conscious part of his game to improve. Like I think Alex did an interview with his goalkeeper coach at New England, who was like, yeah, he can do those things, which I think is not true. Like I think it is a weakness in his game. But again, the shot stopping is the most important part. If he's an excellent shot stopper, we'll live with everything else. So let's see. Lucas Chevalier, Thomas Wilkinson wants. He has had strong XG numbers his whole career for Lille. He has also played a ton for his age. I watch a lot of Lille because of Jonathan David, and I am I'm on him. I think he's fine to good. Again, I like wonder what the fee would be. I also wonder like if there are Lille things because Mike Maignan also was like a pretty solid XG goalkeeper during his time at Lille, and it's like when there are team effects like that stay goalkeeper to goalkeeper, I wonder if there's more team things than we know about. But it's interesting. The other one, Penders. I think like Penders is just so much further away than people think he is. Like he's maybe a first division average goalkeeper in Belgium, which is so far away. Like he's maybe that. So that's the thing. Okay. But okay. So that's the thing. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I think Penders is fine. That's all it is. Restes. Yeah, Restes is fun. Restes is really fun. His stats are not very good. The last time I looked, maybe they've recovered. He gave away a really brutal goal last week. Restes is fun because he is so young. I don't know if my like internet is dying here. Come on, FB ref. But yeah, I think historically his stats have not been good at all. And I'm gonna pull up Tiernaberry for the guy who's asking. We're getting the old FB ref spins. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? I don't know, man. Today was fun. We won. We won. That's all you can ask for at the end of the day. Okay. I don't know. FB ref gave up. Oh, Mamadou Sarr, who I would also love to pull up FB ref stuff. Mamadou Sarr. So the fee on compare Mamadou Sarr and Anselmino McLockbot profiles. They're actually hilarious. Sure. Let's do it. Anselmino, who, if I recall correctly, has garbage stats. To Mamadou Sarr. Center back. Let's see. B-Ref just gave up. Oh my goodness. Yeah, so this is the thing with Sar, right? Like, so on one hand, props to Dimitri for giving a great tool for no costa. Dude, shout out that Dimitri built this whole thing and it's totally free for everybody is the best. So like McClockbot, you can't see the McClock app, that Streamlit, that app, it's great. It's so good to have a tool like this. I will say I have seen like clubs internal data management tools. Like this is better than any clubs. Yeah, so here we are. The thing with Sar is that I don't think Sar is very good whenever I watch him. I think he's okay. And I think for a 19-year-old who 18, 19-year-old in Liga playing every game for a mid-table team, that's a fine place to be. However, I don't think he's good. So when I look at it, I'm like, Chelsea are paying 11 million. I'm like, why? Why are you doing that now? And where is he going? Unless he's just going back to Strasbourg next season, which is totally possible. But in that case, why not just wait? Why not just wait for next summer to do this? Better ups. I love McClock, and I love the name is just from a Chelsea scout. Yeah, Scott McLaughlin, who was Chelsea's director of recruitment in the Mourinho era. He knows about this, by the way, and he thinks it's very funny. Somebody told him, or somebody told me that he is aware of McClock bot and thinks it's quite funny. Um, why are Sar's passing numbers better? They're not. It's just passing percentage. But look at like progressive passes. He does nothing. Anselmino, I think, is also not good and has the same thing in that like he played. Yeah, I don't know. The Argentine league is very weak in my opinion. Uh, so I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. But yeah, I don't know, dude. That's my feeling on it. Is that both of these guys are not very good, and I don't really know why you would pay this now. And it's also a bit of a steep fee, I think. And this is a Strasbourg financial doping, no question. I don't know if it is. Like, it's only a 3 million profit for Strasbourg. They paid 8.5 in the summer. Like, what's the point? And like, okay, so they've amortized. They've whatever they've amortized a quarter of it, so it's a 5 million profit in a year. Like, why? There are many easier ways to get 5 million into Strasbourg than to do this. So I really don't understand the point of this. I also similarly don't understand the point of the Anselmino deal. There was nothing I saw from him in Argentina that I'm like, I really want to pay 15 million for this guy. I said the same thing about David Washington. At least Angelo had like pretty good signal, like, oh, this is probably a good young player. Same with Andre Santos. Like there was much more signal, like these guys are probably good. Mostly in the fact that they played like heavy minutes at 18 for teams that were not like way atop of the league that could afford to play a kid for financial reasons, and it wouldn't cost them points. Like they needed them. So that is very, very strange to me. Restes has bad data. He has bad data. Not well, it's not that bad. It's fine. But he's very young. Again, it's like I wouldn't chat isn't appearing. That is weird. It was appearing and now it's not. You're right. I don't know how to fix that for now. You're right. It's not. Huh. Why is it not appearing? That's very strange. It was earlier in the thing, but now it's not. I don't know. That'll be a fix for later thing. But let's see. Yeah, rest is whatever. Tiana Berry, I think we talked about him on a couple streams ago. It's like it's interesting, but it's early. Like there's not enough signal for me to be super into it. Kier forgot to say subs weren't bad today. I said it at the beginning when we talked about the game. I said they were okay. I said they were okay. Yeah. Okay. We're gonna wrap it. We're not gonna go 2 hours. There's not enough transfers to talk about. today was a good day. Let's take the win and enjoy. We'll be back, I think. Let's see. If Chelsea is going to be on Peacock against Man City, we'll have a stream for it. We'll have a watch along. Maybe on Peacock. If it's on Peacock, we'll have a watch along. If we don't, we will talk after. Anyways, we're going to wrap it there. There'll be a podcast out tomorrow. It is what it is. Chelsea win 3-1. Put up a big XG number. We're cooking.